So, hello to the person who was watching this video presentation. This video presentation is the continuation of our report about the Asian regionalism. So, before we continue, I will sum up first the topics that we already discussed. So, first we discuss about what are regions. So, regions are a group of countries located in the same geographically specified area. And second, the Asian regionalism and the evolution of Asian regionalism, which is August 8, 1967. The Association of Southeast Asian Nation, or ASEAN, was founded with 5 original members: Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore. In 1997, the ASEAN Plus 3 or APT was established. In 1989, the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC was formed. Here is about the differences between regionalization and globalization. Here we have 5 aspects. First, nature. Second, market. Third, cultural and societal relations. Fourth, aid. And lastly, technological advances. And also, we have the regional integration, which is the process by 2 or more nation states cooperate and work closely to achieve peace, stability, and wealth. Why do countries form regional association? First, we have the military defense, economic crisis, resources, and protection of independence. Lastly, the factors that are leading the Asian region into greater integration. So we have here 5 situations. So now let's move on and let's continue our current topic. Challenges to regionalism. First, we have the resurgence of militant nationalism and populism. This involves the conflict between NATO, United States, and Vladimir Putin's anti-NATO movement. So when we say resurgence of nationalism, it's like some countries are becoming more proud and protective of themselves to the point na ayaw na nilang makialam or makipag-cooperate sa iba. For example, Russia's conflict with NATO shows that nationalism can cause tension instead of teamwork. It's like countries start focusing on themselves rather than working together as one region. Second, continuing financial crisis. The continuing crisis in the European region continues to lead the United Kingdom into exiting the European Union. So this one is about the financial problems in Europe. Because of money issues, some countries disagreed on how to fix the economy. That's why the United Kingdom decided to leave the European Union. And we call that Brexit. Brexit means British plus exit. That's why Brexit. In short, when countries can solve financial problems together, nawawala yung trust and unity among them. Third, conflict between sovereignty and regional stability. Um, the Philippines had a difficulty in letting some countries support its condemnation of China's occupation of the West Philippine Sea because China had given great investments and economic aid to these countries. So this one, medyo related sa atin. The Philippines wanted support from other countries regarding the West Philippine Sea. Pero some countries didn't side with us kasi they're receiving investments from China. In short, they don't wanna lose China's support. It's like choosing between friendship and money. This shows na minsan countries choose what benefits them more, even if it means sacrificing regional unity. And lastly, differing vision of regionalism. Developed countries like the US may only see regionalism as a tool for political democratization. But developing countries see regionalism as an obstacle to economic globalization because public inquiry slows down its implementations. So, not all countries see regionalism the same way. Developed countries like the US focus more on politics and democracy, but the developing countries like us care more about improving our economy. Kaya minsan nagkakaproblema kasi iba-iba yung goals. Some want political change, others want economic progress. So it's hard to move forward as one region.
How do different Asian states confront the challenges of globalization, regionalism, and COVID-19? ASEAN, founded on August 8, 1967 by Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and the Philippines. ASEAN was established on August 8, 1967 to promote economic growth, social progress, and cultural development among Southeast Asian nations. It encouraged unity, friendship, and cooperation among its 10 member countries. Sa madaling sabi, ang ASEAN ay tumutulong upang magtulungan ang mga bansa sa Asya para makamit ang pag-unlad at kapayapaan. Sila rin ay nagkakaisa lalo na noong panahon ng COVID-19 kung saan nagtutulungan sila sa paghatid ng tulong, bakuna at medical supplies. Energy and environmental concerns arise from Asia's rapid economic growth, leading to high energy demand and environmental problems. Asian nations are encouraged to use science and technology to create sustainable energy sources. Asia's fast economic growth increases energy use and population. That's why Asian countries are encouraged to use science and technology to find sustainable and energy sources. Means, due o faster of growth, tumas taas din ang konsumo ng kuryente at energy, kaya need mag-invent ng mas malinis na paraan ng paggamit ng energy so hindi masira ang environment.
Weakening regional institutions. The first bullet is tensions between authoritarian and democratic members of ASEAN can weaken regional institutions. Some Asian countries have strict governments, which is the authoritarian, while others have open, the democratic system. Because their political beliefs and priorities are different, they often disagree on regional issues. These disagreements make it harder for ASEAN to act together, which weakens the organization's unity and effectiveness. The concept of flexible engagement allows member countries to comment on each internal policies and monitor economic indicators to prevent crises or crisis. Usually, um, ASEAN usually follows a rule of non-interference, meaning members avoid criticizing or influencing each other's internal issues. But in a flexible engagement is an approach that lets countries speak about each internal problems, monitor economic conditions more closely, share warnings to avoid financial or political crises. Um, this helps ASEAN respond better to regional challenges even though it bends the usual non-interference rule. Second, the, the fourth is shifts in the balance of power. Deepening economic integration has given rise to regional economic blocs that compete for power and influence. As Asian countries trade more with each other, they form economic groups or blocs like Asian, RCEP, and China centered networks. These blocs compete for leadership, resources, and influence in the region, changing how power is distributed. The last one, these shifts affect Asia's political and economic landscape, requiring stronger cooperation among nations. Because power is shifting between regional blocs, relationships between countries also change. To stay stable and competitive, Asian nations need stronger cooperation, better communication, and shared strategies. This helps them handle political tensions, economic challenges, and global competition.
So here are the expanding roles of the military. Present tense traditional traits, internal tensions, and emerging security challenges increase the demand on regional militaries. So ang military, ang may mga malalaking papel sa mga bansa lalo na sa buong Asya. So bakit nga ba? Una, dahil sa mga traditional traits. Dahil sa mga bansa na mga nagbabanta sa isa pang bansa at mga nag-aalitan tulad ng Ukraine at Russia at mga laban sa mga terorismo. Pangalawa, ang internal tension na ang mga bansa ay naghahanap din ng mga internal na alitan tulad ng mga protesta. Ang pangatlo naman ay emerging security challenges. Yung mga bagong mga banta tulad ng cyber attacks, pandemics, at climate change. So, however, this rising demand may occur during periods of declining resources. To address this, countries could adopt conscription system similar to South Korea, where men serve a few years in the military before returning to civilian life. So, dito naman, ang problema ay ang mga demand ay tumataas. Ngunit, ang mga resources like pera at mga tauhan na magagamit sa military ay bumababa. So, paano nga ba nila ito mapapalakas? So, maaari nilang gawin ng mga bansa ay ang magpatupad ng system ng conscription tulad ng mga South Korea na may mga system na ang mga lalaki ay naglilingkod sa military sa loob ng mga ilang taon bago bumalik sila sa kanilang buhay na sibilyan. Na makakatulong ito upang palakasin ang bilang ng mga tauhan sa military at ang pagpapalakas ng kahusayan na mamaaring mapalakas pa ang isang bansa tulad ng sa technology upang mas mapabuti at mapalakas at mapahusay pa nila ito. Now is globalization and democracy. Authoritarian regimes struggle more under globalization compared to countries that uphold transparency, accountability, and the rule of law, principles that support democracy and free markets. So, ang globalization ay malaking nag-uugnay sa mga bansa at ekonomiya sa buong mundo. Ang mga bansa na transparency, accountability, at may rule of law tulad ng democracy na may mas magandang karanasan sa globalization. So, bakit nga ba? So, dahil sa transparency, kung ang isang government ay may transparency, ay mas madali na lang sa mga negosyante at investor na pagkatiwalaan sila. At sa accountability naman, kapag ang isang leader ay may pananagutan sa kanyang mga tao or tauhan, ay mas mataas ang chance na gumawa sila ng mga mabuting desisyon na makakatulong sa bansa, hindi lang sa kanilang pansarili. At sa rule of law naman, ay kapag ang isang bansa ay sumusunod sa mga rule of law, mas predictable at stable ito na makakabuti sa negosyo. To maintain efficient and trusted economy system, Asian nations may need to embrace democratic values, ensuring fair governance and effective policy making. So, upang magtagumpay ang global economy, ang mga Asian nation ay kailangang gamitin ang demokrasy tulad ng transparency, accountability at rule of law na makakatulong para itaguyod ang mga economy at magandang pamamahala sa isang bansa. So now is COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So alam naman natin na ang COVID-19 ay isang sakit na sanhi ng virus na mabilis kumalat sa ating mundo or sa ating buong mundo. Its outbreak severely impacted Asian economies and households. So nakaapekto ito sa ating economy at sa ating mga pamumuhay, lalo na sa buong Asia. So, which is nung kasagsagan ng pandemic, nung na-quarantine tayo since nung 2019. na maraming nawala ng trabaho at nagsarara ng mga negosyante at yung mga hospitals halos punong-puno ng mga pasyente na nag-positive sa COVID-19. So, some countries, such as South Korea, acted quickly to strengthen their health system even before confirming their first COVID-19 cases. So, ngunit ang South Korea, mabilis na inaksyonan or nag-response na kumilos upang makagawa ng paraan upang malunasan ang COVID-19 or virus sa pagkalat sa atin or sa buong mundo. So, dahil sa kanilang maagang pag-respond at malakas na kanilang system sa kalusugan or health system at technology ay mas naging epektibo ito sa atin. So, ngunit hindi lang South Korea, kundi Singapore and China din. So, yun lang po. Thank you.